My name's Jacob Lucas, the Conquest creator, and I quit my job to play Warhammer full-time. Join me this week as we go through what I do each day as a full-time wargaming YouTuber. We'll play Warhammer, digitally sculpt, build terrain, upgrade the studio, write a bunch of to-do lists, do concept art, edit videos, 3D print stuff, get community feedback, do a bunch of design meetings. Oh, and did I mention play Warhammer? And at the end of the video, we're going to answer the question of, was this actually a good idea and am I actually making any money? For a bit of context, as a job, I was a mechanical engineer working for a company designing CNC grinding machines for tool and cutter grinders. I was doing this part-time. A few weeks ago, I graduated from university with a mechanical engineering degree and I decided to quit my job and go full-time into Conquest creations. Now, unsurprisingly, there is a little bit more to it than just playing Warhammer all day, although there is actually a surprising amount of that. At Conquest Creations, we produce battle reports. This is where we film a game of Warhammer and produce it as content. We also create our own STL files of wargaming scenery. Conquest Creations isn't just me. There's a ton of guys who come in to help out with those battle reports, and there's also Zhao, who's a full-time sculptor working for Conquest Creations. So join me this week as we see what it looks like to be a full-time wargaming YouTuber and terrain designer. So before we get any further, I think it makes a lot of sense to show off the full Conquest Creations studio workspace to you guys. I guess we can start with what's behind me. We have a couch. Now, the good thing about having a couch is it gives people a nice place to sit, but it's also very expandable, meaning if I want to expand things in the future, can be out with the couch, in with more shelvings, tables, desk space, stuff like that. I've also got Lord of the Rings posters because, I mean, that just makes sense. We play ME SBG, right? Now, this is a massive shelf. It's actually just two shelves put together. And the idea here is that if I make really big 4x4 boards, the whole entire thing can just slide in there. This direct deep table is a pain in the ass to store because it's got big cliffs at the back, but by having a big shelf like this, it makes it really easy. So it just opens up my options with what I can actually build. On top, we have a bunch of boxes of terrain. You know, in here there's Elven stuff, Dwarven stuff, Saxonia stuff, absolutely heaps, as well as some of the older builds that I did that are still kicking around. I've got this shelf where these are all the test prints for Kingdom of Evil, so if you stop the video and zoom in, you can get a sneak peek of what's to come there. A ton of other boxes. We've got some models borrowed from Jeremy here. They're going home, but I'm gonna steal another lot from him. There's about 15 years of hobbying contained in these, and there's some really exciting stuff in here. My favorite thing in these display cases is this tiny dwarf. Now, that is not a very impressive paint job at all, but it is the first miniature that I ever painted, so he goes with the other display pieces that I've done, which I think is a ton of fun. Here is our main filming table. So this table is what we're going to use to film everything on. It's a nice 1.5 by 1.5 table. At the moment, you can see it has this board on it. Now, this is just a work in progress. It's an old board that I did a little while ago that is just being repaired. And by the time you're watching this video, there might already be a battle report out on it, or that might be the next video going out. And finally, we have our big computer station. We've got a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor and a big custom PC with some fancy graphics card, fancy CPU, a bit of everything that should make running the business a lot easier. Spending all day working on wargaming and wargaming related things sounds like a ton of fun. And trust me, it 100% is. It is absolutely awesome. But it's really easy to have a little bit too much fun and lose sight of what we're doing as a business. Now, for that reasons, writing to-do lists is really important to me. It's really important that we track our progress and make sure we're staying on track and actually producing products that people can buy and producing videos that people can watch. Otherwise, we won't be a business. We'll just be a couple guys hanging around doing hobby stuff all day. On the to-do list for Monday was to figure out some sound insulation, have a meeting with Zhao, who we'll meet later, hang some curtains, and prepare the board and scenery for our upcoming battle report. I headed down to Bunnings. You might be wondering why I'm walking. It's because this 3-meter pole certainly won't fit in my car and we need to hang some curtains. We've hung our curtain. I hope that you guys can see a very clear problem. But I am renting this space and there was already some holes drilled, so I just used the existing ones. I can only assume whoever actually drilled those holes would have looked at their job and thought that was pretty poor. And look, I'm inheriting that, and that's okay with me. And our next task is to fix up this board. This is a Mordor style board that I made several years ago, and it's just been sitting on a shelf, not used for quite a long time. But I want to bring it back out because we are filming an Elves versus Mordor battle report on it. And you can see that there's lots of little yellow spots showing through from where it's been damaged, and I've covered up most of them, so I just need to do a quick dry brush over it, and then we're going to need to paint some of our terrain. These are the Kingdom of Evil buildings. Now, I hope by the time this video goes out, this battle report is live. This is our next terrain Kickstarter, the Kingdom of Evil. This one's not done being painted yet, so I'm going to work on some of them so that tomorrow we can use them in a battle report. I've been working away on some of these Kingdom of Evil buildings. Now I'm calling it Kingdom of Evil because I haven't decided on a name yet. By the time you're watching this, I hope I have. And as you can see, I'm doing some really interesting undertones. There's a lot of just testing at this stage. I want to make sure these look good, so I'm trying a lot of things. And this one I just set up with the lights so that I could take a photo of it and send it to some of my mates to get some feedback on it. So if you have any feedback, what do you think about this color scheme? Is it a bit too much, a bit too out there? The idea is that there's a ghostly glow coming from the bottom and that our metal is really rusty. Is that coming across? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Days at work where I literally just get to paint miniatures and can justify it as work are a ton of fun, and that's what I did for most of the rest of the day. I've just done a ton of painting and we're not quite there yet. There's a few more details and mainly the metalwork to finish off, but we're coming close to the end of the day, and every single day I do a drawing. So we'll finish off with that, go home for the day, and I'll see you tomorrow. And the drawings don't have any deliverable attached to them, so they're generally just something fun. Today's drawing was a bit dodgy, but don't worry, they'll look a bit better on future days. And that is the first day of the week done, so we jump into Tuesday, and the first thing I always do is write my to-do list. At this stage, I really need to name the project, the next Kickstarter. At the moment, it's called the Kingdom of Evil, which is just our working title, so a temporary title before we decide on the actual name. And a couple days ago now, I put out a post on the YouTube community as well as the Instagram and Facebook asking for name suggestions. I'm going to go through, pick my favorites, and then we're going to make a YouTube poll, and whichever one wins, wins. The person who suggested the name that ends up winning gets a whole set of the terrain completely for free. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's see what people have suggested. Off the bat, Arun Argol, Taras Naxa, Kingdom of Taras Naxa, Kingdom of Khazgoroth, Kingdom of Terra Regis. I really like that name. Kingdom of the Land of Kings in Latin. Really cool. I don't think it fits this project, but that is noted. Kingdom of Gorzathul, Kingdom of Nazgoth. Kind of cool. I would go Nazgaroth. Kingdom of Angul Dorm. Alright, so I've chosen my favorite three, and those are Gorzathul, Kingdom of Gorzathul, Kingdom of Arun Argol, and Kingdom of Azragor. I'm going to put these in a poll, and that should decide which one will be the actual name of the project. And while that poll is cooking, I decided to keep working on my paint job. So I've just finished up painting all these buildings, and the last thing I need to do is find some old boulder scattertrain. It's hidden in one of these boxes, so let's have a look. So these are the boulders. As you can see, there's a few damaged bits. I'm just going to touch them up, and then I'll be able to set up this board and we're ready for a battle report. I touched up these rocks in the same way as the table, just covering any of the yellow foam sticking through with a bit of dark grey and then some lighter grey. And this is the board setup for our battle report that's going to occur in the lands of Barad-dûr. So this is a cool Orcish outpost. We have the arena, one of the smaller houses, and the Orcish jail. Really keen to see how these play in game. This is going to be their maiden voyage in game, and I'm very keen to show them off. But this is not going to be the first battle report we play. We're going to start with Sauron in the Shire. Now this game was an absolute ton of fun. It was Sauron versus unlimited hobbits until he died. We also filmed elves versus orcs using the new terrain. Thanks to Alex for coming out and filming this. I obviously couldn't have done it without him, and you'll see him back on the channel very soon. And here we are at the end of the day. The last thing on my list of things to do was to post on social media. Something that I'm trying to do a lot more. I don't find myself naturally using Instagram and Facebook much. That takes us into Wednesday, where once again, like always, I start by writing out my to-do list. Now, after having a day of playing Warhammer yesterday, we've got a day of editing and filming, and there is a lot on this list, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through all of it. So here we are at the start of Wednesday. I've started with my to-do list, and there's plenty to do today. The most fun part is going to be my glamour shots from the battle reports that we filmed yesterday. These are the shots that go at the intro of the video that look all fancy, pretty much. It also includes the thumbnail, which I generally find pretty fun to make. So let's get into it, but we're going to start with a job that I'm not very excited to do. In my car, just down there, I'm presuming you can't see that. There we go, just down there somewhere. There is a mini fridge. Let's go get that and bring it in. That was very difficult, but we now have a fridge. This is good progress. Now, while I was in the process of setting stuff up in the studio, I decided I needed to do a bit of a cleanup. It's really important to keep my workspace very, very clean and organized. So let's get into that. Now, this isn't great for my to-do list that was already very long to begin with. So I'm going to need to choose some things to move over to tomorrow already. And once all the cleaning up was done, I recorded some of these glamour shots. These look really good. I'm super happy with how they've come together. And so here we are for a quick update. It's come to 2 o'clock, so it's starting to run out of time in the day. I've accepted that my video won't be going out tonight. I've done a bit of editing on it, but it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to get as far as I can, finish it tomorrow, and get it posted. But importantly, I picked up a new chair. Ducked out to Officeworks, got it. It was actually a Christmas present from my parents, so thanks Mum and Dad for that. That's great. Much more comfortable and cleaned up in here a little bit more. Now this is another exciting thing. We had a package arrive, and it is foam insulation. So this is sound insulation. And tomorrow I'm going to come back with some glue and start putting this all across the studio. I've got this big cardboard that I'm actually just going to cover with the foam insulation, and we'll be able to move it. So when I'm doing voiceovers, I can just stick it behind my desk. And I'm just going to sit down and let's do some editing. I decided I wanted the Elves versus Orcs game to go out first, so that's what I started on and just got into a mega editing session. I'm generally spending about 8 to 16 hours a week in the editing desk. And I've gotten the body of the battle report done. That means kind of all of the actual gameplay, and the only thing to go now is my advertisement segment for myself, as well as the introduction, which is actually kind of the two most time-consuming parts of it. But I've got the body done, and I'm glad with that. Now, I still have about 45 minutes left before I need to head off for the day, and a big priority is finding a freelancer to create a logo for me. I did a poll on what I should name my next project, the project that I've been calling the Kingdom of Evil, and the Kingdom of Azragor is the final answer. Kingdom of Azragor. I think that's got a good ring to it. It sounds evil enough to me. So I'm actually going to jump on Fiverr. Alright, I looked through a whole bunch of logo designers on Fiverr, and I'm just doing the default of going back to the person I used last time because they were pretty good, and I think that their concepts will fit what I'm going for with the Kingdom of Azragor. So I'm just going to quickly type up a message to them, put together some ideas of what I was thinking, and yeah, send it through, see what they say. And the last thing that I'm doing for today is playing with this little robotic camera controller that I got. And hey, I've had some problems with it not working until now, but it actually looks like it is, maybe working, and that's pretty cool. And here we are, it's now Thursday morning. Again, starting with my to-do list. We've got a bunch of meetings today, and then the important thing that we need to do is work on our sound insulation. We're gonna get all this set up, glued onto some cardboard, glued onto the walls, and that should help our audio in here a lot. Following that, we'll obviously do our drawing. I forgot to do my drawing yesterday, so I'll spend a bit more time on it today, and then a bunch of glamour shots of stuff that I didn't get to yesterday. Next on the to-do list was jumping into a meeting, so here I am, working with João.
Hi, my name is João, and I'm a sculptor and art director in Conquest Creation.
João is on a full-time contract here at Conquest Creations, and he is working on creating all the digital sculpts in the Kingdom of Azragor. This piece that you see in front of you here is a sneak peek at the citadel of the Kingdom of Azragor. João and I have plans to do some awesome behind-the-scenes content of how we've created the Kingdom of Azragor, so look out for that in the coming videos. The rest of the day was spent in a couple more meetings, one with Lockie from Zorp, and then it was more video editing and doing my daily drawing. This whole week I've been running my printer as much as possible. I'm mainly using my Bamboo Lab P1P because it's just so fast and so reliable. And this here is one of the towers of the Citadel. It's one of the 5 towers. I can't wait to get this thing done because it's going to be the biggest thing that we've designed so far. And it's casual games night here in the Conquest Creation Studio. I didn't quite get as far in my to-do list as I wanted to, but hey, these guys turned up to play games, so I guess I'll play games with them. And we're here on the last day of the week. It's Friday. We've started strong and already done a meeting with Zhao, and I've got the to-do list written. We're going to Bunnings to pick up some supplies. We're going to finish prepping for some files for the Battlezone Mars project. We're going to draw a picture, of course. We're going to do some sound insulation work. That was supposed to happen yesterday, but I'm going to be gluing these around onto everything. And there's one other thing on my list. Let's see what it is. We need to upload all of the files for Battlezone Mars and get those released. I'm hoping all of that's pretty achievable to get through, and I'll be able to add some stuff to the list, but I'd rather keep that list slightly shorter, get everything done that needs to get done, and then next week can start on the next list. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to start by gluing some of this sound insulation just to see if it actually is going to stick with this glue. The great thing about the sound insulation foam is that it's super light, so it is really, really easy to glue down, and it dries super quickly. So I made the interesting pattern of vertical and horizontal alternating, because apparently that's what you're supposed to do, and it'll dampen the sound better. Getting close to the end of the day, and it's been a little bit of a grind. We're just preparing a ton of files, but an exciting email came through. This is the first draft of the Kingdom of Azragor Kickstarter logo. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the coloration. I think the form works, but my feedback is going to be that I want it to look sharper. I think these curves look a little bit just too friendly for what I'm going for. And I really want the colors to change. This is a very kind of elven looking green. Not at all what I'm going for, so I want it to look rusty, old, decayed. So that's the feedback that I'll send back, and we'll see what the graphic designer can do with it. Now, I've also done a ton of other admin stuff today. I've got all of the files prepared for and released for Battlezone Mars, and I'm working on getting a bunch of early access files ready for Kingdom of Azragor project to be sent out to some other content creators so they can start painting on those projects. So thank you for joining me this week. It's been a ton of fun to have you guys along with me, and we have a very important question. Does this actually make any money, or should I go and get a real job? Well, so far, we've put out 3 Kickstarters, and if you want to see how those have performed commercially, that is publicly available on Kickstarter, so feel free to follow the links in the description down below. We also make money from ongoing sales of these STL files, and we make some revenue from the YouTube advertisement. With this money, not only are we able to employ Zhao on a full-time contract, but I'm also able to support myself and do pretty well out of it. So, is this going to work long term? I certainly hope so, and I'm very confident, but I do acknowledge that anything could happen. At the moment, I'm absolutely having a blast, and I would have been insane if I didn't have a shot at it. If you're interested in starting your own wargaming related business or YouTube channel, and you have some questions, feel free to reach out to me. There's a contact us page on our website, and I'll get back to everybody. And finally, none of this would be possible without you guys watching these videos, so a massive thank you to you. This has been Conquest Creations. I'm Jacob Lucas, and thank you for watching.